Okay, so the battery's running low on the camera, so I'll do all the other days later, but obviously I'm downstairs, which means I'm doing some sort of cooking video, because today is National Quesadilla Day. This is not an attempts video, because I make quesadillas. Well, I don't make quesadillas all the time, it's been a while, but I did used to make quesadillas all the time, and I do eat, like, I make quesadillas at the point. You will need at least some amount of tortillas, preferably 2, so you can do the sandwich sort of thing, but 1 folded will be fine. You definitely need cheese. I recommend using grated over anything else. I'm using both mozzarella and cheddar. And then you need a filling of your choice. I'm using the rest of some more of the pepperoni from the video the other day. Some leftover paprika chicken thighs from tea the other day. And red pepper cut into small chunks. Let's go. Right, hopefully that should be enough charge for cooking this, because this is my lunch and I want lunch and I don't want to have to think the battery died once already. So I've sprayed all the pan, first sheet down, first layer of cheese. Yeah, again I'm using 2 cheeses, so, but it is up to you what cheese you want to use. I just recommend using grated because it's like, you know, it's just easier to distribute, really, isn't it? That's 1 cheese. Now this is your glue, so don't feel bad about going heavy on the cheese, because this is what keeps the whole thing together. You're gonna need cheese. You're gonna need a fair bit of it. And we are gonna be cheesing both sides, so don't use all your cheese now if you're pre-making a blend and not just eyeballing it like I am. Pre-making a blend or using a existing blend and intending, like, there's reasons why I don't give measurements on this series, on me cooking when I cook. It's because I very much do things by eye anyway. And even when I do use recipes and using ingredients, like actual ingredients, I'm not too fussed about being too exact, because cooking isn't really... Baking is an exact science, but cooking in general isn't. Baking is the only bit that's actually, like... Ratios are important in baking, but not so much in everything else. But yeah, the pan's not on, which is why I'm not rushing. So yeah, your assorted toppings. So some pepper, red pepper, some pepperoni. Got quite a bit of pepperoni cut, so it can be generous with the pepperoni. And yeah, chicken. Because yeah, I made some shredded chicken pasta with these paprika chicken thighs, and didn't use all the thighs, so I'm using what's left over. Which is, again, like the fried rice, this is a really good thing for using any leftover meat you have, or leftover anything really. But most of the time it's leftover meat that people want to deal with, isn't it? So I think a little bit more pepperoni. Here and here. Just, you know, we get stuff all over. And then a second layer of cheese. I'm going to do the reverse order because I want the mozzarella in the middle and the cheddar on the outside. For no real reason other than I feel like that's the right thing to do. Cooking is instinctual. follow your cooking instincts. Listen to your cooking heart. You know it to be true. Yeah, and then once this is done, we'll put the top side on. We can probably turn the heat on now actually, but I'm not going to. Mostly because, yeah, the cheese going everywhere. I want to try and clean that up as we go, so it's not super difficult to clean the pan afterwards. It's going to be kind of difficult because there will be some level of melted cheese, but this is also quite a good non-stick pan, so I'm slightly less concerned about that. Yeah. Should be a nice, good second layer of cheese, I think. we get our the tortilla. We'll place that on top, and then we can put the heat on. You probably want medium to high heat. Now, I'm going to flip it the difficult way with just a spatula. But if you want a tip for making it slightly easier to do, get 2 plates, and then once you think the one side's done, plate there, flip it, plate on, take the pan off, second plate, flip it again, take off the first plate, pan back on, flipped. So that there is my quick little quesadilla. Well, just flipping hack in general, really. But I've done this enough where, and I don't care enough about it breaking and flipping and twisting and going all over the place, that I'm okay with it just being as is. As you can see, we're starting to get some of the cheese melting. And just keep an eye on it, wait for the side to brown. Cheese to start to melt decently. So it's nice and, well, it's fairly well stuck. Wait, this is how non-stick this pan is. I can just casually do this. It's relatively easy to do. It's a very nice pan. And like investing in good pans, some real good pans are real expensive, but sometimes it's just worth it. Like if you're cooking a lot, a really good non-stick pan or a really good like skillet you can put in the oven. Like it's an investment, right? Which not everything you can say is an investment. That's a lot of money you can say is an investment, but this kind of is. Let me move the camera while it's cooking. You don't need to focus too much on that, so you can. Eventually, let's move you back. See if I can't get me and the thing in the shot a bit more. Oh, that's as high as that goes. With the space of this kitchen, I have to lower the tripod a bit to get it to fit in. Getting a bit of browning. The heat distribution, like the one problem with this hob is this corner, like this back corner, has dropped compared to the rest of it. So everything sort of tilts to one side, and weirdly that also includes heat distribution, so. Cheese. Okay, so we've got a nice browning on the other side. Okay, if you're not confident, do the method I mentioned, but because that way you don't get it going everywhere like the way I do it. Don't be like me, be smart. But I don't want to waste the plates to do it. Now I've got a odd angle on that. How does that even happen? I generally don't know how I get that much of an angle on it and still and not be able to move it and fix it. Like, it was not melted enough for cheese to go everywhere and for the thing to slide, but it has melted enough for me to not slide it back. But again, it's not the biggest deal. I think I've got a lot of cheese, plenty of cheese in it. You like cheese pulls the internet, don't you? There you go. With a nice, real long cheese pull in the spatula. Which is the other benefit of 2 cheeses, isn't it? You get stringiness of the mozzarella and actual flavour of cheddar. I know, it's just me, but mozzarella's not got the greatest flavour. I've got cheese everywhere. It's like it's all over the floor. I have to clean that up after I've eaten. Because again, I'm hungry. I want lunch. Okay. Turn off the heat. I'm going to cut this up and then we'll wrap up this section and then I'll put John in charge again so I can I literally just charged it up enough so I could do this. And there are a lot of other days I need to cover. So the camera, I was surprised the camera didn't die, it actually did the battery thing. I was just talking about how I've got a Tokyo Treat subscription, and the last box for my birthday, but the last box had some orange vanilla Coke and we're going to try it. It's an odd combination. I wouldn't say I get much orange, but it also doesn't taste like just regular vanilla Coke. That's odd, but nice. Speaking of nice, I've already taken 2 bites out of it for the first time I'm doing this. But yeah, the quesadilla is good. This will be a good lunch. But I kind of knew that already, because like I said, this is an attempt. I make this all the time. And by all the time, I mean regularly enough where I know what I'm doing, and even with making quite a bit of mess, I still do fine. Again, be smart, use the trick I told you to use. I just didn't. I don't. That's the easy but stupid method. That's like the low effort but stupid method. What I did. The method I told you to do is the high effort but big brain method. Anyway, I'm gonna put you on charge because you're running low on battery. I'm gonna go finish my lunch and then we'll go into the other days for today. Yes, camera charged, lunch eaten. I had to lie down because I'm getting a headache today. But we do have more days to cover, so let us go into those. National One Hit Wonder Day. This is one of those weird, like, kind of nebulous terms in the fact that it kind of gets used in a lot of different ways. To me, it's generally defined as an artist with one significant hit. Sort of junior, senior is the example that comes to my mind. They have other sort of unknown, not very good songs, but they have that one, yeah, really well-known song, which for some reason the actual title of is blanking on me. Is it Move Your Feet, or is it... I think it's Move Your Feet, right? And the music video is great. The fucking squirrel. This asshole blows up the world. It's great. But that, like, they have other songs, but that's their hit. There's a channel on YouTube that I don't watch, but I keep getting, like, recommended, which has a whole series. I think it's One Hit Wonderland, I think is the name of it. And one of the videos that keeps getting recommended to me is the reason why I'm not bothering to watch that series, and it is OK Go. OK Go is not a one-hit wonder. They have a lot of really good songs that are definably hits. Granted, they are most famous for their ridiculous their ridiculous and high-end and trying to do as much as possible music videos. But that's still, like, their music is still good, and I listen to quite a few of their songs, and probably a lot of other people do. They're not a one-hit wonder. National Comic Book Day. Again, I have loads of comic books and graphic novels and stuff laying around. And at some point, I'll actually get around to reading them all. I have, like, all 4 of the complete books of The Runaways. I've read the first book, and that's about it. I read all of the X-Men vs. Avengers book I've got. I still haven't even touched House of M. I think I'm 2 chapters. I'm 2 comic books in my I get like I guess the softback, but not the like actual comic book books. I get the sort of compilation books. And I think I'm 2 books into. Do you think I'm 2 books into The Watchmen? I think I'm 2 books into the Deadpool Spider-Man crossover comics. I haven't touched the graphic novel versions of Discworld. I haven't touched Lumberjanes, which I bought because the description was too short, like Buffy the Vampire. I think it was Buffy the Vampire meets Gravity Falls or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember the description, but the description was like, this sounds like it should be right up my alley. I haven't touched it. I don't get around to doing a lot of the stuff I want to do, and reading is one of those things. And most of the stuff I want to read is comic books. So, because I'm a nerd. National Lobster Day. Lobster is one of those seafood that I know I can eat, and I quite like. Like, if you had some decent cooked lobster, that would go in that as well. You'd have to, I don't know if it would go quite with the cheese mix I made. You might want to mix that up, but yeah, Zed, quesadillas, they're really, really flexible. National Tune Up Day is something I did read-ish. I read the basic description. I never read more than that unless I need it. And, well, there's one on here that I'm still confused about, but we'll get to that. With the National Tune Up Day, it is making sure everything is in working order as we go into winter. You know, all your heating equipment and everything is, you know, up to scratch, you know, it's not dusty and stuff. Because obviously, you know, you use it less, or most people use it less. My dad's weird. You use it less in the summer, you use it less when it's warm. Weirdly, we've just hit autumn, and we're only, you know, our weather is now all over the place, alternating between really warm and storms. So, but yeah, that's what tune-up day is. It is making sure all of your equipment is up and running fine. That's great, isn't it? It's a day that actually makes sense, I think, is the more poignant thing. A day that is for something that I am not only not aware of being that much of a thing, but an incredibly boring thing. National Research Administrators Day. Oh god, how fucking dull. Researchers are great, but admin for anything is awful. Like, no one likes admin. And the people that do, you know, that's the thing, isn't it? People who like admin, you're immediately suspicious, like you like doing admin. Math Storytelling Day, I assume, is referring to the weird fucking bullshit scenarios math questions feel it necessary to lay out instead of just giving you the question. Now, I know there's some point to that, right? Like, you're supposed to... Because, again, I did A-level maths. The whole point is, if we just give you the question, then all you're doing is, you know... They feel the need to make you work out what the problem is. And sometimes there's a reason for that, and it, you know... Because if they just give you an equation, it's easy, but so they're like, okay, let's give them a scenario, and I guess the other idea is people constantly keep asking, when are we going to need this? And they're trying to put it into context where you might need it, except for there are normally much better ways to work out these things than, you know, these weird techniques that you're taught as math. Especially A-level math. You don't need A-level math. You really don't. Like, we did it, but you don't need it. You so don't need it. And it's like... Because what math is the you don't know jack of, like, study, like, top, like, educational subjects. That's the phrase I was looking for. Because it is full of actual questions covered in something else, right? Like, because that's all you do. If you've never played You Don't Know Jack, it's it's basically what Jackbox games made before the Jackbox Party Pack was the thing. It's all they made was You Don't Know Jack. And it's a trivia show, but all the trivia questions are phrased in... I always describe it as phrased under a veil of pop culture. So they are legitimate trivia questions, but phrased in a sort of an odd way. And a lot of the time it's just getting past the oddness of it to work out what the actual question is. So the example I always think of is, if the people behind I Can't Believe It's Not Butter made a series of butter based on the 5 stages of grief, what would the next product be called? Right? Like, that question is, what follows, like, denial in the 5 stages of grief? But it's under this sort of, you know, contextual veil. I also love the best one is still the first one I ever interacted with, which was the one on Facebook, oddly. But the elephant mustard Teddy Roosevelt of Dracula. It's pretty good. What was the other one? Kangaroo Peanut Albert Einstein Uranus was the other one I can think of. I'm pretty sure the new one has one as well, but I haven't played the new one as much, so I can't remember it. Those are always those are the really easy ones because those are your 4 answers. It's one of those things, and so that's like sort of the most trivia, but yeah. For the fourth Friday in September, National Brave Day, it's in all caps. I don't know if this is an organization or if this is just a concept. Reading it is to do with women putting, like, who, you know, bring up other women, and it's just kind of odd. This feels like this is going to be another thing that people yell. I would love you to better explain what this day is actually about, but this website isn't doing a very good job, and otherwise it just seems like needless positivity. Alright, it's just, and I use the word needless because of context. We need more positivity in the world, yeah, but not just sort of that kind of. It feels more like you're acknowledging that there are people that bring you down, so let's celebrate the people that don't, more than it is just celebrating people that bring you up, right? Like, it's a bit odd. And for the last Friday in September, I guess it's statistically possible that they're not the same thing. I mentioned it yesterday. National Gay Men's HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. Why? For the love of God. Do we need all of these oddly specific days for HIV and AIDS? Someone tell me. Some doctor, please tell me why we don't just have... I would be okay with having multiple HIV and AIDS days. It's the fact that we have so many that are so necessarily specific. We had a women and girls one earlier in the year. I think the video is titled oddly gender specific disease. Because it is. It is odd because it's all the same thing. More or less, it's all the same thing. It might be slightly different strains of the same thing, but the variation in strains doesn't become down to the gender of the person who has it, or the sexuality of the person that has it, right? It's still the same problem, more or less. Like, again, you can have the slight variation in strains of these things, but point is it is silly. It is objectively silly that we are having to have that you feel the need to have days to specify HIV and AIDS in women and girls, to specify HIV and AIDS in gay men, which that's even worse. Honestly, I think that might be slightly worse because that's even more specific. A whole gender, that's 50% of the population. That's still, a decent thing. You're then cutting that in even more. Right, that's an even more niche demographic. God, I don't understand. And this isn't a straight white man sort of thing, right? I'm straight. I'm not even straight. I said 2 days ago I'm bisexual, but I'm a white man. I'm not being included in this. But no, it's not one of those. It's not that I am the most I am the most important, so I must be included. No, it's not that. It just, this is a problem that can affect everyone. Literally everyone. Why are we having days that target specific individuals and specific groups of people? It makes no sense. I don't understand. I would love actual explanations for any of these things I say I don't understand. Like this, the brave in all caps thing, which again, it sounds like it'd be an organization, but there's no indication in the description of, from what I read, that it is an organization. It's just the idea of it. And again, that's the other thing about that. Why is it called Brave all caps Day if it's not an organization? What's brave about people not bringing you, people bringing you up? And again, that's the other thing. Why do we specify? Why do you feel the need to specify women there? I constantly see posts about it online, but guys have feelings too, my guy, my dude. We have all the same problems, if not more so, because the world has conditioned men to not talk about their problems and their feelings and stuff, and it's fucking stupid. And in the same vein, makes so many other people treat it like we can't. I feel like you're pushing an agenda. You're inadvertently pushing an agenda, and even if that agenda comes from tradition, which the best description I've ever seen for tradition is, it is peer pressure from dead people. And if that isn't a good sentiment as to how ridiculous tradition is, I don't know what is. So with that, all our days are covered. I've got not much else to say on it, at least not without sort of starting to go over the same things again. I would love to hear your opinions about the various things in today's episode. There's a lot of weird stuff, especially those last couple of days, that I'm just like, I feel like this is odd, and maybe this is just from my perspective, but so I'd love to get other angles on it. If you enjoyed, or even if you didn't enjoy, please just share the video. I don't get promotion from YouTube. If you did enjoy, though, do consider subscribing. Join the Broken Flock of Shattered Sheep. I'll get that right eventually. Well, I can do branding. Certainly trying to do branding, anyway. Speaking of branding, I am Chaos. I am I am the primordial concept of chaos taking physical form, and I would ask you to embrace my embrace my aspect, embrace my concept of chaos. The idea of doing whatever, following your instincts, doing, you know, going with the flow a bit more, doing whatever. I don't know. The one I've been using kind of semi-infrequently, but semi-frequently as of a few months ago, I think, is try something new. Let your brain just run through ideas and pick something and stop on something that maybe you haven't done before, but you've thought about doing. Like maybe it's a new hobby, maybe it's a new, you know, it could be something really simple. It could be like pushing yourself in a thing you haven't. Maybe you picked up cycling, for example. Maybe it's going and trying a new trail, right? That you've been thinking about doing for a while. You've been unsure. Just go do it. Stop thinking about it and just go do it. That's sort of the positive side of chaos that I'm trying to push through, because after all, order is man-made. Chaos is the more natural order of things. Order is made by man. We put that in place because too much chaos is a problem. There's a balance to the thing. But yeah, if you do that, let me know how it goes. Maybe let me know on Twitter, because YouTube comments are weird. But yeah, if you try something new on my recommendation of it, let me know how that goes. No matter what it is, I am very much interested. And you know, and I don't know, maybe if I get enough of them, I'll do a whole video on it, just talking about it. If people are okay with me sharing those stories, of course. I'm not that sort of person who'll be like, just I'm just gonna do it. No, I will message you for both your consent of me doing it and doing it, like sharing it and doing it, like, you know, because I'm not just ripping your content directly off of you, which some people do, and sometimes it's fine. Like if it's Reddit and stuff, it's a bit going through Reddit and stuff isn't the same thing, but that's a bit more personal, I think. Anyway. That's that tangent aside. The other sort of semi-infrequent part of the outro that I might as well include: love yourself. Get you know, in the same vein, a lot of the time actually. Treat yourself with some damn fucking respect. Treat yourself well. Treat yourself hella good and shit. You know, in the end, if you're concerned about other people loving you, fuck, start with yourself, right? Like if you're having that problem, start with just loving yourself. Because if you are having trouble loving yourself, then you're gonna get stuck in that problem of how will other people, and that's a downward spiral. So start loving yourself. It's one less problem to deal with. And finally, reminder of our goal here, which is to change the world, to make this world a better place as far as a whole bunch of stuff goes. I don't know how far down that list we'll ever get, but I'll be happy if we just take the first thing off the list, which is equality. And that doesn't have to be the biggest tick, but as long as we can make some note that, yeah, we've done something to improve equality here, I'd be happy. And that's not just directly from our existence, it's not just like in my lifetime, I think that sentiment is. But there's so many things just aggressively wrong with the world at the moment that, yeah. Let's change it. Let's do something about it. We have the power, as long as we have the numbers. Which is kind of why I tell you to share it. Because I'm not so much expecting to make money off YouTube. In fact, if I do start getting an audience and wanted to start making money off YouTube, I would honestly consider not putting ads on my videos, because YouTube ads are getting steadily worse for their level of intrusiveness and their just level of garbage. Like, their ads are getting awful. They're getting real bad. So yeah, like I would generally consider not putting ads and just doing like Patreon or something, but that's a problem for future Homer, because I don't have an audience, hence why I tell you to share. But again, the other reason why I want an audience is to have some. They call them influencers, and I don't think they do anything with that influence. They certainly don't do anything positive, or not a lot positive. Like we got, I think there was, I don't follow Mr. Beast, so I don't really know, but there was a thing about him and a bunch of people going and planting a fuck ton of trees. That's some good shit. But I don't watch him, and apparently he does a whole bunch of stuff like that, but I don't follow him, so I don't know any of this. But like, I don't know, there's so many people that, yeah, they're in these positions of power and they call them influencers, but they do fucking nothing with it. So I'm just like, I could actually do something with that, I feel. And I don't know what it is I could do, but I could at least It's that thing of like, you know, people saying go vote, right? Like, that is a positive use of your influence, right? You have people's attention, go tell people to vote, because voting is important. As bad as the democratic, like the processes we have in place are, not getting involved with them is still stupid. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm hearing people yell about wanting to get in the kitchen, and that's the one problem about doing these videos downstairs, and my habit of rambling in my outros. So I will see you tomorrow. Ta-ra.